Less than here.
Be ready for one game. And then you can go to not the starters.
They also
in that division, they lost to the games. So
they are, yeah.
the further away you go.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, but
Royalty.
He'll be far away.
Maybe they'll get some
The retirement hitter.
Now it's going to be a lot more than that.
If he didn't play,
We should have known when they got like 48-0.
Yes, but then you get a healthy quarterback instead of when we still beat up. We still lost. I would have sat him.
Jamar Chase said he should have for the first time. By the time we go in time.
Yeah, he had a point. Well, in that one, yeah.
Remember a few years ago,
They were 3 and 4.
five games.
They were 3 and 4.
I ask you, mine doesn't tap.
Yeah, I can get that for you. Can you just come along to me in town today? Yeah.
Here he comes.
Here we go, it's showtime.
All right, as far as injuries go, Richie James, knee, he has an MCL. He won't practice today. Pacheco has a hamstring contusion. He won't practice. It's not a tear. It's just, and then Tony's got the sprained toe. And then Bolton and Willie have a sprained ankle and a quad contusion. So they're working through those. They, the latter two did the walkthrough, but won't practice after. Look forward to the challenge of playing the Bears. Good football team, well coached by Matt and his staff, and they've got good players, and so we've got to make sure that we have a good week of preparation. Anyways, with that, time, George.
Coach, is there any type of is there a reason why you all only ran the ball 4 times in the first half, or at least twice in the first half with Mahomes running? Is there a conscious effort going forward to try to have a little bit more balance in that offense?
Yeah, just trying to do what we need to do, to move the ball. So we'll keep mixing it.
Like twice in the
Yeah. There wasn't. Yeah.
Andy, Patrick talked about zone defense you guys have been facing. Just generally speaking, what are sort of the keys to beating when you see a lot of zone coverage?
Yeah, well, feel, is the first thing. Just players being able to sit in holes and do those things. So they have been playing zone, but they've also been playing man on third down, and so they've got that package in. Last year they mixed it between man, single safety, middle man, zone, and all the shell coverages. They've got a big package of stuff they can roll at you. But to answer your question, zone, you got to have a feel for it.
It's maybe pretty obvious, but how much of getting used to that feel is just the experience? And obviously you guys have a lot of new guys that you're cycling in.
Yeah, that's we've got to do a better job there, but not with it's everybody. It's everybody. And then don't put ourselves in long yardage situations, where you potentially can't run the ball.
But the lack of contact and the lack of hitting the when you did it for 50 years in the NFL, is the first month of the season almost like a crapshoot? You don't know really what you're going to get from your people and what to get from their people.
Yeah, well, I tell you that's every year. I mean, the first few games, everybody's bringing out their new stuff and working with that, or new players working with them, and so everything settles down after a month or so.
Coach, the injury list include a lot of key players. Are any of them appeared to be long term?
Yeah, these guys, most of them are just day to day. Richie might be a little bit longer. Yeah, possibly.
Andy,
the other ones are day to day.
Andy, with your appreciation of NFL history and where you are on the wins list now, I just wonder what perspective you might have on Tom Landry, particularly if you were conscious of him growing up, and as well as George Karlaftis, to what degree you had any engagement or consciousness of them?
I know who both of them are. Tom Landry, I do know that. Tom Landry, I'd tell you that when I was a kid, I'd go out to their training camps in Cal Lutheran, California. There, very impressed by how they operated. They, he was a phenomenal coach, phenomenal teams, and loved watching. But that was, that was about it.
What moved you to go out to, was it Thousand Oaks?
Yeah.
You were pretty young to be going out there.
Yeah, it was junior high school and high school, yeah. But we had an opportunity to go out and watch practice, and it was great for a kid. I mean, it was a great deal.
Playing any NFL thoughts at that point?
No, I was just watching the guys. They had a lot of great players. Leroy Jordan, Lilly, when he was still going, and you could go on and on. They had a bunch of them.
And last thing, just with Hallis, I mean, his place in NFL history. I know you referred to him before with LDT and some things like that, but I just wonder what your thoughts about him are.
Great innovator. He'll get this league started, so you know that. And I know his daughter, and so I know that part of it and his grandkids, but I didn't know him. But he left a great legacy.
Coach, another off-the-field question. One of your former players, Jamal Charles, up for 2024 class of Hall of Fame. What do you remember about him?
Hall of Fame player. So he was tremendous. Could do everything. I mean, literally everything. He could have played wide receiver. Did play running back. You give him the ball, you're guaranteed whatever his average is. But it's one of the highest, if not the highest, in the league history. So I mean, he's a great player. Wish I would have had him, when he was even younger than what I got him at. So.
I know you're not a voter, but do you feel like he should be a first ballot?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no. There are a lot of running backs that play the game,
right,
and he's right there statistically at the top. And then, all the things that he could do to help you win a football game. Not a lot of guys can do that, and he did it easily.
Andy, you talked the other day about Jamar Taylor and some of the problems he's having. You said they could be fixed. What's that process? Can you elaborate on what that process will be like for him and for you as coaches to help him through that?
Yeah, so he works hard on getting off the snap on time. He does that, but he's just going to have to, tame that down just a little bit, where he doesn't get called on it, and that's just working through it.
He and Donovan Smith have been, they've had some penalties, but they've also shown some glimpses of why they're proven vets in the league.
Well, you take the penalties away from, 7-4, man. He had a really good game, so it's a shame that happened, but he's got to work on that. And Donovan likewise. I mean, you're right. Donovan's done a nice job.
Justin Fields has mentioned trying to play without thinking too much. As you've groomed, Donovan and now Patrick, he's in his third year. How do you balance, maybe providing too much and still letting a quarterback that's that dynamic play there?
Yeah. He's a good football player, and he can do so many things. I don't know. I mean, I'm not there. I've never.
More so in your experience.
Yeah. I think they'll work it out. I mean, that's what they're doing right now. So I don't know exactly what he said, but if he's saying that, then he's working through it. And, it's important that we kind of get ourselves right to play a guy that can do so many different things. He'll be one of the faster guys on the field. He can do all of that. Smart. He's got a good arm. So.
Coach, there's oftentimes about your coaching tree, but on the executive side, how do you feel Ryan Poles has done in the 2 years he's been in Chicago coming from?
Yeah, listen, I'm a big Ryan Poles fan, so I think he's good. He needs time. That's what it takes to do what he's being asked to do. So, but he's gotten in there and grinded like crazy and made changes that look like they're pretty good players.
Coach, is there a different intensity about Travis Kelce? A little chippiness after the game, and then in training camp a little bit. I know injuries are awful; nobody likes him. But do you sense there's a different intensity that you're like talking to him about?
No, not necessarily. He's always been feisty and competitive as all get out. My point was that he went into that game where he was banged up a little bit, didn't have an opportunity to knock the rust off in the first game. And so he put himself in a certain mindset. And the great ones can do that. I mean, he was there and he was battling through it. And I thought he did a heck of a job with it. I mean, he never complains, never says anything, and just goes. So, and he's not the youngest one out there, right? So he did. I thought he did a good job. But that's what he did. He went out and he had a certain attitude that he knew he was going to have to get through that game, and he put it on. And anybody that was going to mess with him, going to get messed back. So.
Couple more guys.
I know you don't get involved in the contract. You'll leave that up to Brett. But when Patrick gets a restructure done, gets rewarded, what do you say to him? Do you bring it up at all? Do you congratulate him? And does it make you think about still how much you want to be coaching him?
Yeah, no, I mean I congratulate him. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, he's not big on all of that. He just kind of moves through it and like he does most things and wants to keep getting better at what he's doing. So. That's what makes him unique with people. You don't sit there and go, "Oh, he's going to have a letdown." No, you never think of that. He just, hey, nice, congrats, keep moving, and that's how he rolls. But I'm happy for him. That Clark Hunt did that. Just shows you, what kind of owner he is, and then Brett and his crew there. Brant and Chris just working through that with his agents or with his agent Chris. Those aren't easy. They're complicated, and they worked through it and came up with a good formula. I think for both parties. So it was good.
Make him buy now, and you guys go out to eat.
I might think of that.
Last two will go Rob and Nate.
I'm good. Oh, you're good? Okay. Last one, Nate. Oh, go ahead.
Andy, you guys have had a lot of success these first 2 weeks in nickel and in dime. I just wonder from your standpoint, what do you think has led to that success, and how valuable is it to have success in both sub-packages?
I think getting Snead back helps, right? We didn't have him preseason healthy, but getting him back in the mix here and going. And it's also the young DBs that have learned from last year. Now, every week's going to be a challenge. So, whatever they did last week was great. They got to do it again, and you got to build on that. But they've worked very hard. Spags does a great job of putting them in positions and moving them around and bringing different people in, giving different looks. And David and Donald do a great job coaching the back end. So there's good communication, and they work on their fundamentals all the time and techniques. So it's fun to watch them grow. But there's still plenty of room to go. It's and a lot of season here.
Last one, Aaron.
Chicago looking to avoid 0-3 and that kind of thing. You expect them to kind of roll the dice, go for a fourth down, be more aggressive, try to avoid this? Or?
Yeah, Matt's a tough guy, and that's the way he coaches that football team, and they play hard. And there's small margins between winning and losing in this league. We know that. And so we have to have a great week of preparation. That's the way that's one thing we can control, is going out there and working our tail off. And you put on the tape and you see how hard they play. And you better be ready, right? I mean, that's part of this.
All right, thank you.
Okay, good. Yep.
Yeah, beautiful.
Patrick,
How you doing?
congratulations on a great contract. Is it just When you have that kind of support, I mean, is it just endearing, supportive, grateful, humbling? I don't know, to know your owner wants to be sure you are taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a great spot. I got a lot of great people around me. Very thankful to the Hunt family and the Chiefs organization. And glad that now I can just go out there and play football. And so you get that security, and I already had it, but just to get a little bump and then be able to go back out there and just play football, I'm excited for it.
Patrick, but when you look at that, I know before the season, you said that really wasn't really as important as you being the number one player because, like you said, I guess it's still the same money, but just get more of it up front over the next 4 years. Was it that important to you to get this done, or was it more so the agent so you could, so they could get this taken care of so you could focus and, I guess, ego-wise to be able to be, set to the top paid quarterback?
Yeah, I think it's just constant communication between me, my people, the front office, Clark Hunt, Coach Reid, to find the right spot to where I can get paid and keep the quarterback market going. At the same time, keep a lot of great dudes around me and keep cap space for other guys to get signed as well. And that'll be something that I'll do throughout my entire career to try to obviously make money for myself and my family, but keep a lot of great players around me as well.
Patrick, what is sort of the balance? I mean, obviously that pulls you in two different directions as far as trying to keep everybody here, but being towards the top. What is sort of the struggle there, and how do you decide which end of the spectrum to fall?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You have to watch and see what's going on around the league and find that right spot. And I thought we found a good one in this negotiation that we did that we'll be able to still keep cap space for other guys to get signed. But obviously, I got a little bit more money up front, and then we'll kind of redo it and renegotiate whenever we get to that mark that we talked about. So it's a special place and a special relationship that I have with the team to be able to trust them to be able to even when I signed the last contract, know that this was going to happen and then probably going to happen again at some point.
So you do, throughout that process, ask yourself, how's this going to affect 24, 25, 26 for the rest of the roster?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have a lot of great players that want to be here so we can win a lot of Super Bowls, and I want to make a lot of money, but I also want to win. I think when you look back at teams and players, you look back at how they won and the perception of how they did things, and so that's what I try to manage and find the right median of getting the money but also winning football games.
What would your advice be to a guy like Justin Fields? He's talked about the game being a little fast and wanting to slow it down. You've been in a spot like that before. What would you say to him about kind of the struggles he's facing this year?
Yeah, just trust your talent, trust your instincts. He's here for a reason. He's made a lot of big plays happen in the NFL and in college, wherever he's been. So just trust in your instincts, and then go out there and be the player that you've always been, just not against us, hopefully.
Patrick, you mentioned the quarterback market. I think you mentioned that in the spring as well. There's a responsibility you feel to, if you're the MVP and the Super Bowl champion, to get paid up there. How does that communication actually work? Does the union talk to you guys? Does the other agents say, "Listen, you guys got to get Patrick more money"? How does that go down? Where you get that?
Yeah, it's not a ton of communication. I think it's just kind of a known that you got to keep the bar going. You got to keep it moving. I don't want people to be negotiated against me, and so that's a reason that you do something like I did this last week. Just trying to keep the market moving in the right direction, training in the right direction. So not only me, but other quarterbacks and other positions can get paid the money that they deserve.
Patrick, does this kind of stuff make you study business more, or do you just leave most of that advice to your agents? Or?
I've always kind of liked it. I mean, if I didn't become a NFL player, I wanted to be either a sports agent or and work in sports marketing. I always wanted to help players, so I've always been interested in it. And I know that I'm doing it in a different way than other people, but I feel like it's the right way for me because of the trust I have in the front office that I'm going to still make a lot of money and be set for life and for my kids and everything like that. But hopefully give us a chance to go out there and win football games as well.
Patrick, you thrive under pressure. When the going gets tough, you get going way up there. But does a contract like this add more pressure?
I always feel like I'm under pressure to go out there and succeed. I feel like that's a standard that I have on myself, and I want to go out there and maximize this opportunity that I have. And I always talk about not having regrets. And I mean, the money is the money. It's awesome. It's amazing. I know I can do a lot of great things, not only for myself but for people that have given me so much. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be look back on how I played the game, and I hope that's with intensity and leaving everything out there, and hopefully that means winning a lot of football games.
Patrick, go back on the field. Do you feel like you're getting the best out of Marquez? I think this past week he only had 2 targets, I think the 2 catches, but one of your top receivers on the team, and he hasn't really been the focal point of the offense the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been great offensively just in general. So I think as the offense gets going and we start finding our rhythm, you're going to start seeing those shots to Marquez down the field. You're going to see him be more involved in the offense. But when you can't stay in rhythm, and that's me included, as an offense, it's hard to get the guys the targets that they deserve and that they should get. And so we have to find that rhythm and find the way to spread the ball around and then get the guys the catches, so that we can go out there and have a better offensive day.
Do you sense any frustration coming from you yet?
No, I mean, I haven't. From that whole receiving room, I haven't any frustration. I mean, I think the frustration is probably more of me about myself and how the offense has been doing. So that everybody's had that mentality that we just got to keep working, keep getting better, me included. But obviously, we want to play better because the defense is playing so well. We want to take some of that pressure off of them.
Patrick, I'm sure this is like a much larger answer than this setting provides, but from 18 and 19 on to like now, how has the game and defenses and coverages kind of made you have to be more patient with how you operate the offense?
Yeah, I mean, you just see we get a lot more zone coverages, a lot more deeper coverages. I mean, you look at the interception I threw to Watson this last week. In previous years, that safety on the backside is not that deep and not able to get back there. And so I looked over to the right and saw him kind of open up his hips to the right, and so I thought there was a chance I could throw it over the top, and I got it over the top of the guy J. Watt was covering. That was covering J. Watt, but the safety made a play. So it shows that defenses are going to continue to play back and make me be patient. And I have to be able to do that, take what's there, not have negative plays happen. And then with our defense playing like it is, we'll continue to score, and then defenses will have to become aggressive at some point.
We got time for a couple more. Let's go Steve and then Todd. Go Steve.
Patrick, you mentioned the quarterback market. There's 14 of you got remaining black quarterbacks this year, which is a record. Last year there was 11. Where do you see that black quarterback market going?
Yeah, I think it's as the game gets more diversified and the way that's played, I think you'll see more black quarterbacks in the league and having opportunities. And I think the next step is kind of having the backup quarterbacks and stuff like that. And I think that's something that we'll continue to push in the right direction, and it just shows that you can play the quarterback position in a lot of different ways. I think that's the coolest thing, and offensive coordinators are given these quarterbacks, no matter where you come from, the best chance to go out there and succeed. And I think if you see that, this should have been happening for years, because you see how high the level of quarterback play has been throughout the league.
Yeah, now, do you guys, I know you worry about your team during the season, but how do you guys push each other throughout the season? Is there who's leading the group text message? I guess.
Yeah, not a group text message or anything like that, but it's always good to see those guys in the off seasons, in the Pro Bowls or wherever it is, and just say like, "Hey man, I was watching you all year, hell of a year." And so it's cool to see the position in general and how it's changed over the last few years, even since I've been in the NFL. And we're hoping to keep pushing that forward. And so when we leave, it's even a better spot than when we got here.
Todd? Had a few snap issues this year so far. Just blip on the radar on that, or something you guys got to work on as far as getting it back there?
Yeah, I think last week it was a little bit. It's kind of like a greedy on me. I try to go verbal on some of those cadences, and we had a little miscommunication where I wasn't loud enough for those guys to hear. And so when we're in away game, try to go back to that silent count, just work on that instead of trying to be greedy and do the verbal stuff. And as far as the snaps, I mean, whenever we're going back and forth, that can get a little messed up here and there. But I mean, we've done it for 2 years, and it's worked well, so we'll be all right.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.
Are you going to the locker room? Oh, okay.
McDuffie.
George Karlaftis.
McNuggets. Steve, do you want to sit down?
No, I'm good.
Because your guy here's got 2 chairs. I'm sure you're in mine. So, do you think Tony will play again this year?
I hope so.
Does he have a broken toe?
Sprayed.
Man, that can hurt.
It's tough to stay healthy.
The talent is there. It's just the endurance. Well, I hope he comes back. That would suck if he didn't.
Any word yet? All right.
How's Patrick?
Anybody in there?
No. Patrick say anything in there?
What's that?
Patrick say anything in there?
Just mostly 80% about his contract.
No.
There's something questions about his contract. I don't even want to.
And just kind of like the current me that he makes more money than all of us in this room.
Oh, easily.
In 1 week.
Easily.
Times 10.
Maybe one quarter.
52 million a year is 1 million a week.
That's crazy. Like, what do you do with all that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be comfortable with just like a tiny house. And,
1 week, that's all I
you know what I
need.
mean? I don't need anything fancy. Oh yeah, and then in his endorsements too.
He's got 150 endorsements.
Something you have a question. I had to go to my second question.
And he doesn't come cheap.
That's
Does
crazy.
that divide the team at all?
High talent requires high money.
One team, one man, one side did it publicly, and one side. Hopefully.
I was like,
Community
I was
event.
like, you should do like a thing for like students to pay off their student loans.
Share the wealth.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I make enough money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give some money out to students who can't pay off their loans.
Be great. It would be great. I thought Trent was in here. He's not in the locker room.
Maybe he's getting ready.
He's been advertised.
There he is. Trent, Trent, I believe.
All right.
No cursing. That's a big
What up, y'all?
Hey.
Hi, Trent McDuffie.
Hi, how you doing? I'm good.
Trent, are you happy with the way the defense has been playing the first 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at just the points that we've led up and just the overall how we've been competing every day. This is a defense that's young and hungry, and I know Spags has been calling some great plays for us, and I know the defense is happy where we're at, but we definitely have some things we got to clean up, and definitely looking to trend in an upwards direction for sure.
Spags usually tells us it takes about half season for y'all to find cohesiveness.
Yeah.
It seems like you're way ahead of schedule. How come?
Honestly, I think it's just coming off of last year. We were a young group. We had to learn a lot. This like whole defense came back again this year, and over OTAs and training camp, I feel like we've grown really close as a group, as far as just unit-wise and just overall as a defense. And I think a lot of guys kind of just come in here and just are willing to work each and every day, and that can be huge as far as just in the future, knowing that you're just going to continue to stack days. And I think that's what Coach Bagg is talking about. It's just there's a bunch of group of guys that are just like here to do their job and do it at the best they can.
Sure, and I was talking to Nick post-game, and he was talking about how you guys are coming in with something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
You want to prove it to yourselves, to your team, and just to everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are that defense. What's the mentality of that defense?
Yeah, like I said, we're hungry. And I know off of last year, just based off of just stats and everything that went on, yeah, we won the Super Bowl, but I know this defense definitely felt like we could have done more and produced more. And coming to this year, this is something that we definitely have been looking at and want to continue to succeed with and show that, just because last week and the week before we held them to 14 points, like this is a defense that's going to continue to do that and be consistent with it.
And this is your second year. You mentioned last year. How much has the game slowed down for you?
Yeah, a lot actually. And I feel like last year was my first time really on the inside playing nickel and stuff. So things that I didn't see before, as far as football in general on the inside, was so different, and it was such a learning process that this year being able to slow it down during OTAs and kind of break it down at what my position is and just my job and my responsibilities, the game slowed down a ton. And so it's been very beneficial with that.
Is it satisfying when the defense can play like you're playing as the offense is still trying to find a rhythm?
Yeah, man, that was something coming in here, coming from UW. It was a huge defensive school, and you come to the Chiefs and it's like, okay, it's an offensive-driven team. Like they score a lot of points. And I know last year and especially this year, just over the offseason, we've been talking about what can the defense do? How can we help 15? How can we help the Chiefs overall just keep winning? And that's just keeping points off the board. And I think we've done a really good job at just getting that ball back to 15, like we always say. And I think it's time for when 15, he wins a lot of games for us, but when he's not having the best day and some things are going well for the offense, it's up to the defense to step up and win the game for the team, and that's something that we want to do every time.
Trent, we didn't get to ask you after the first game, but you mentioned in training camp that you wanted to be someone who created more turnovers.
Yeah.
Just what worked so well in that red zone play to get the fumble?
Honestly, it's just aggressiveness. They ran a screenplay, which, just a simple little dish out. And you talk about just block destruction. You talk about a swarming defense, and then just the ability to just fight. I mean, they're on a long drive. They're in the red zone. A lot of things were working well for them, and we just kept battling. And I know that week against Detroit, we didn't have the best red zone defense, and I'm really happy that last week against the Jags, we were able to step up and take a step forward.
Spags loves to put 6 DBs out on the field.
Yeah.
Obviously, we knew 5 of you guys got drafted last year. How much pride do you take in Spags sort of featuring that as part of the defense, having 6 DBs out for a large chunk of games?
Man, as a DB, I love it. Anytime I can have all my boys out there on the field, I'll take that anytime. And I think it also just shows the trust he has with the defensive backs to put six of us out there and be like, okay, y'all are out there, y'all got to stop, y'all got to make this play. It brings a lot of pride to the group, and I know that we're ready for it, and we know we want to be out there anytime. So anytime there's 6 DBs, 5 DBs, shoot, any DB on the field, we know that we're out there to make a play.
Patrick just got an amazing contract.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it's like $1 million a week. It's like $52 million for the year.
Mm-hmm.
As a young player, what's your reaction to that, knowing that's what's available in the NFL?
Honestly, I don't even think about that, man. It's year 2 for me. This is week 3. I'm thinking about what I got to do against this team right now. So all that money and stuff is great, but not anything I honestly think about, to be honest with you.
Does it shock the system, though?
I mean, man, coming into the NFL, I already knew money is crazy. Guys are getting a bunch of contracts, so it's exciting knowing that much money is out there. But again, that's a quarterback. That's Patrick Mahomes getting this type of money. So, it's humbling and it's exciting for him. I know I'm super excited for him.
Last one, Matt.
It was well documented last year about how the newcomers met regularly to get acclimated to everything that was thrown at you. How much have the newcomers this year adopted those habits that you guys established last year?
Yeah, honestly, they've been doing a really good job. I think it helps when you have some guys who came in the league last year, first year, and kind of learning it that way for these new rookies and even just new guys coming in. We're able to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, last year we did this, thought this way, like this didn't work, this worked. So I feel like it's a little more fresh in our minds of like how everything went last year and how we're trying to learn the defense. So in that aspect of it, it's been very beneficial. But again, this is a tough defense. This is a tough team to come into, especially if you come from any team, just the way we practice and just the things that we do. So just being positive, like the vets were to me last year, something that I've been doing, and just being patient. I tell them all the time that you're not going to learn this defense all today, but just keep stacking the days and keep just getting as best as you can and learning the things that they got to do.
Trent, you talked about those red zone stops, particularly that one where the Jags had first and goal at the 1.
Yeah.
Didn't score. What's it say about your defense that you can stop them even though it's first and goal at the 1?
Yeah, man, the resilience. Honestly, this is a defense where I always say football is not perfect. We're going to have mistakes. They're going to make plays. We're going to make plays. And over the course of a game, you can kind of get lost in everything that's happening play by play. But to stop a team that's on the 1 yard line who, is a really high-powered offense and to just keep driving them back even. It's not like they finish at the 1 yard line. They keep going backwards. I think it just brings a confidence to the defense and shows that, the things that we've been doing since training camp, all that time, all the practice, all those reps are finally paying off, and I think we're just going to continue to improve and stack upon that.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
All right.
Hi, George.
How we doing?
What was it like to have Chris Jones back in the lineup?
It was great. When you have a guy like that come back, his impact was evident on the game, and just to have a guy like that play next to you, it helps me out a lot. So it's awesome.
George, this offense obviously gets a lot of publicity. Do you guys kind of feel a little in the shadows because of what Patrick Mahomes in the offense does?
We're not really focused on who gets the publicity as long as we get the win, to be quite honest.
And how does it feel to basically, I know you didn't win the first 2 games by yourself, but you put the offense in position to do so?
That's what we have to do every week. They put us in a position to win, and we put them in a position to win too. That's kind of how team sports work, and that's how we have this sustained greatness, if you will. Just by playing off of each other. When the offense needs help, the defense picks up the slack, and vice versa.
George, with the work you put in with Tamba and Bobby the past year or so, were there certain times during the camp or the first couple of weeks where you felt like that work paying off and some of the stuff you were
doing? Oh, yeah, absolutely. All the work that I did in the offseason, I feel like really helped. Just having that experience from the first year, knowing what to work on, and then having a plan and executing it in an off season. Whether it was with Tamba, who helped me tremendously in OTAs with Coach, and when I was training at Louisville with my college strength coach and all of them. Just having a plan and executing that was the biggest thing in the off season.
Are you guys where you want to be defensively?
No. I mean, we're not close. I think that we have a lot of things to work on and improve. There's always room for improvement. I think we've had a couple good games and it's a good start, but then consistency is the truest measure of a good defense. So.
George, you and Felix are 2 different players, but do you see a lot of the things you went through last year as a rookie that he's going through now?
Absolutely. Just with a rookie and a defensive lineman, a pass rusher, not just in him, but all the rookie guys we have, and KC and in BJ, and even in Truman, all those guys are kind of going through the figuring it all out, because, for me, I'm still figuring stuff out right now. So as a pass rusher, it takes some time, and our coaches are pretty graceful, and they understand that it takes time, and we're grateful that they do. So definitely see some stuff with Felix that I went through, and I empathize with it, and I've been in your shoes, I know what it's like, and just try to help him out a little bit. He has, as a rookie, you have guys telling you one thing another, and your head kind of explodes sometimes. So you just gotta take a deep breath, listen to your coach, and you'll be good. So.
I feel to get that first sack, and are you still working on the celebration?
Didn't really think about the celebration, to be honest. Felt good, just to be out there, help the team, make a positive play for the team and all that stuff. It's great.
Anybody else? You look at Chicago, Justin Fields. What do you see that maybe you guys need to be mindful of? Ways that maybe you can get the success you want on the field? When you study them, how do you evaluate it?
Yeah, I mean he's a great player. He's a great quarterback. You know, people talk about how well he can run the ball. We think he's pretty good throwing the ball too. You know, so we have a lot of respect for him, and not just him, their whole offense. Great receiving core, great running backs, and a great O-line. You know, so we're gonna have our hands full. You know, they do a really good job. I think they led the league maybe in rushing yards last year. They were near that. So you know, stopping the run game's got to be an emphasis for us, and then getting after them when they're throwing the ball.
Anybody else?
Thank you, George.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah,
Last
George,
one.
George, for you guys in the defensive line room, what is it that you guys are wanting to either put on tape or have opponents say about you whenever they go against you?
I mean, we don't really care what the opponents say about us. You know, we just want to be the unit that plays the toughest. You know, our defensive line coaches, Joe Cullen and Terry Braden, who I think are two of the best in the business. You know, they always preach about leading the NFL in effort. So it's really just about that. I think if we just do that, play our hearts out, and then play with the technique that we're coached under, we'll be just fine.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, George.
Thank you, guys.
What time is it? Is there time to run? Nope. It's 12:28. So it's 22 minutes to walk there. Because they're closed at 12:30, right?
Oh, yeah.